Get on my level, ho. What? Get on my level, ho. You can't. Get on my level, ho. You can't. Get on my level, ho. It's real deal, ho. Look scrappy, ho. It's B&B, ho. Let's go. Bitch, nigga, you can never, ever, 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 ever. Get on my level, ho. What? Get on my level, ho. What? Get on my level, ho. What? Get on my level, ho. Bitch, nigga, you can never, ever.
Buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today I'm doing a fan request video about Michio Kaku, very famous physicist, I believe, astronomer, whatever the fuck he does. He does it. He was actually on Opie and Anthony once. Hilarious. But before I get started, do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery, to helping victims of Africom, to Cohen Daly, the Australian boy. Also, consider donating to some other content creators: Stevie, aka Redneck Economics, Sleepy J, Buy My Coffee, and Ali Alexandra. All links in the description box. Why waste time? Michio Kaku, 3 mind-blowing predictions about the future. From Big Dinky Dink. Let's see if I have fun with this or not. Here we go. Like, if it's like sciencey science stuff, I might get lost. But if it's like, people will do this, and I was like, yes, Jordan has a lane. That's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start do some psychological experiments on people, just so it gives me a reason to exist in the YouTube sphere. Imagine there's actually people that I think subconsciously do that. They kind of create the problems that they feel they have the solution for. And I don't even mean the nefarious ones. I mean like just straight up like, you know what I'm saying? All right, here's some big PP thinking. Here we go. Yeah. Predictions for the future of humanity. Can't wait. We will become
what I call
We will become a spacefaring species. I guess that means we'll go to space a lot. Okay.
We are entering what I call the next golden era of space exploration. We have not just new energy and new financing and money coming from Silicon Valley, we also have a new vision emerging. For Elon Musk of SpaceX is to create a multi-planet species. However, for Jeff Bezos of Amazon, he wants to make Earth into a park so that all the heavy industries, all the pollution goes into outer space. And Jeff Bezos wants to set an Amazon-type delivery system connecting the Earth to the moon. And so he wants to lift all the heavy industries off the planet Earth to make Earth a paradise and to put all the heavy industries in outer space.
You know, it seems to be a theme here in regards to, like, it seems like always when we have these guys who seem to be like nefarious in general, like as far as their actions in the world, their behaviors in the world, seem pretty nefarious, you know, like a Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos, right? It always seems like they cloak their ideas behind like this mask of righteousness. Oh, we don't want to pollute the earth anymore, so let's put the industries in space. Like, what? Isn't that like colonizing space? Like, wouldn't you have to like do that shit first? Is it going to be international? Is it just you guys? Like, who gets to do what? You could also just not pollute here. That'd be nice. You could find a way. Like, I don't know. I'm one of those guys where I'm like, okay, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to happen. Let's say I'm trying to make a cell phone, right? Right, we don't have cell phones yet, but this is a brilliant idea. Let's try to make this thing. Okay, let's look at the health aspect of it, right? And it's like, oh, this, even if it could do this, I'm like Andrew Yang now. Even if there's an 85% chance, or do the opposite. Even if there's a 1% chance it hurts someone, like, oh, we need to sort of build a security structure around this idea and really dig into it without any fucking bullshit buys. I really want my phone made though, or I want a shit ton of money, or whatever. Or this thing will solve a lot of problems. Like, even if I honestly mean that, this thing will solve a lot of problems, which means I have to kind of look past it being possibly dangerous. That's a biggie. Pause. I'm just saying. Here we go.
Now, I once talked to Carl Sagan, and he said that because the Earth is in the middle of a shooting gallery of asteroids,
I would hope
comets,
we
and
look
meteors,
at, like,
it's inevitable.
you know, I would hope we would look into things first before just saying, yeah, let's do it. Even if it's your idea. Also, you know, there's going to be war and hunger still on Earth, and they're just going to make Amazon factories in fucking space.
That we will be hit with a
Healthy-minded
planet-buster.
aliens would be like,
Something
you did
like
what
hit the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. We need an insurance policy. Now, he was clear to say that we're not talking about moving the population of the Earth into outer space. That costs too much money. And we have problems.
That even makes sense. Does that make sense? Now, if he said that costs too much resources, meaning like you don't have the physical things to actually make such a station or whatever the fuck on the moon. Instead, it's we don't have enough money. Like that makes sense? That doesn't make sense. For me, it's mind blowing. But here we go.
Of our own on the Earth, like global warming. We have to deal with those problems on the Earth, not fleeing in outer space. But as an insurance policy, we have to make sure that humans become a two-planet species. These are the words of Carl Sagan. And now, of course, Elon Musk has revived this vision by talking about a multi-planet species. He wants to put up to a million colonists on the planet Mars, sent to Mars by his rockets.
I just think that guy's just full of shit, to be real. Elon Musk, I think he's scientific grifter, basically. Yeah. I don't know. Something about it just reeks of grift. And that the Neuralink only, like, I was already thinking that beforehand. The Neuralink discussion he had with Joe Rogan, like, just doubled, tripled down on it. To be real with you, like, what? That's your philosophical answer to that? Go.
Financed by a combination of public and private funding, including fusion rockets, ramjet fusion rockets, including antimatter rockets. Some of these rockets, of course, their technologies won't be available to the next 100 years. However, the laws of physics make possible sending postage stamp-sized chips to the nearby stars. So think of a chip, perhaps this big, on a parachute, and have thousands of them sent into outer space, energized by perhaps 800 megawatts of laser power. By shooting this gigantic bank of laser energy into outer space, by energizing all these mini parachutes, you could then begin to accelerate them to about 20% the speed of light. This is with doable technology today. It's just a question of engineering. It's a question of political will and economics. But there's no physics, there's no law of physics preventing you from shooting these chips to 20% the speed of light.
So we can shoot a chip 20% of the speed of light, can't feed the world at the same time. Like, we have to see that doesn't make sense, right? Just on its face. I'm being an asshole right now, but at the same time, it's like, I think Patrice was asking the very similar questions. Pretty sure Patrice O'Neill might have asked something similar. I don't know, though. I don't remember.
That means Proxima Centauri, part of the Alpha Centauri triple star system, could be.
Also, I don't think of him. I don't think of Michio Kaku as like some nefarious guy. I think he's just more like a go along to get along. I have fun with science, like type guy. That's where I'm at. But I think no offense to him, I think the government would easily bend him over. No offense to him. I just think. Oh, we need your mind for this. Like, these are bomb parts. Yeah. They threaten your family. What? Oh. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Hit the button. You. Hit the button.
Device. Now think about that. That means that within 20 years,
Where all the
after
savages
20
go,
years of
man?
launch,
They're
we might
just
be
like,
able to have the first
fuck.
Starship go to
have
a
that
nearby
thing,
planet.
that fucking
And it turns out
savage
that
fucking thing in their hearts.
Proxima Centauri b is an Earth-like planet that circles around the closest star to the planet Earth. What a coincidence. So it means that we've already staked out our first destination for visitation by an interstellar starship. And that is Proxima Centauri b, a planet that goes around one of the stars in the triple star system. And so this could be the first of many different kinds of starship designs. But remember, we're talking about the future of humanity. If Elon Musk wants to put 1 million settlers on Mars.
Actually, that made me think of something. Like, did we weed them out? Not we as in like me and you personally. I mean like we as like the human populace, the human population. Did we weed out the savages because maybe they were a little rude or a little, bit of an asshole, or maybe had a bad looking face, like a mean looking face? I don't know. Did those guys get weeded out? Guys and gals? Those fucking savages that like, what the fuck? Those guys just didn't get coffee that day. What the fuck? They're just extra pissed. Yeah, but Michio, he's very nice. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Or maybe, yeah. Also possible that he's just happens to be particularly brilliant in the field. Then.
You have to have 1 million hammers. You have to have 1 million
But it
saws.
just
You have
makes
to
me
have
think
fleets
when I
of
see
workers to
his
begin the process of
personality and then
building
Neil
things
deGrasse
unless
Tyson's
we
personality.
create
You guys are
the
in the
first
same.
self-replicating robot.
How'd you both
With
make
one
it here?
self-replicating
As like
robot,
super
you get
famous.
2, then 4, then 8,
Is that dude's
16,
name Brian
32,
something?
64.
The British
and then you
guy?
have an army of these robots that can build cities on Mars. And so that's the weak link. Everyone
Where's
dreams
the-
of having these gigantic dome cities on Mars. It's
Where's
part
the
of our
Bill
science
Hicks?
fiction heritage. But who's going to build
Bill
these
Hicks
dome
of
cities? I say they're
theoretical
going to be built
physics.
by self-replicating robots. Robots that
He's just at a TED talk. Guys, this could end the planet. This is why we need to care about this. He just sees blank stare. He's like, instant microphone. Like, ah. All right, here we go.
that can make copies of themselves by mining the minerals that are already on Mars. And then beyond that, who knows, maybe our destiny really does lie in outer space. Remember that on the Earth, 99.9% of all species eventually go extinct. Extinction is the norm. We think of Mother Nature as being warm and cuddly, and for the most part, she is. But sometimes the savagery of Mother Nature is revealed, and if you don't believe me, dig underneath your feet. Right under your feet right now are the bones of all the different organisms and fossils, the 99.9% that were doomed by the laws of nature. And the laws of physics also doomed the entire planet Earth. And that's why I say, given the fact that Mother Nature and the laws of physics have a death warrant for humanity, that ultimately our destiny will be in outer space.
Wait. Okay, so he's calling it a natural process that's going to happen. And he's also saying, we have the cure for it. We're going to cure dying. No, well, let me say this. I think if people had more clear minds, it'd be much easier to come up with solutions to any type of thing that walks in front. Right? Be able to move mountains if you just. I don't know. A whole bunch of shit. Everyone has their daily lives they're going through, and some in much more drastic expressions of life, right? And I don't just mean being poor and looking for a place to sleep, but guess what? the super duper elite, blah 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 blah. These guys like think creeping stops because they're not on TV or something. Like no, they're still doing shit when no one's looking. Like their minds must be fucking scrambling. It just constant calculating and all that shit. I don't mean like a Biden, but like you know the guy who's directing Biden. But yeah, there's. I would hope for. I think if there was one set like straight up healthy goal in mind, I might be able to do better. But it is what it is. All right, number 2 of a mind blowing prediction. Okay, so one was we're gonna colonize space. 2 is we will expand the brain's capabilities. Can't wait. I'm gonna say Neuralink, isn't it?
In the history of science, we've had some big projects that galvanized entire nations. First, we had the Manhattan Project, which gave us the atomic bomb. Then we had the Genome Project, which allowed us to map the genes of the body. And President Barack Obama initiated the Connectome Project, a project to map the entire human brain. It is possible to connect the brain directly to a computer.
Wait, what? And why did you need Obama for that? Why'd you need the government guy for? Is there some sort of like legal things that are in the way, or? Oh, for this specific thing.
The atomic bomb.
For
Then
brain
we
mapping?
had the Genome Project, which allowed us to map the genes of the body. And President Barack Obama initiated the Connectome Project, a project to map the entire human brain.
Okay, so you're just saying government government funding to do it. Not that it was like illegal before. Like I don't know, for some reason it sounded like that initially. But let's map the human brain. What will we find out? See, here's the thing actually, with the whole like I said, that time period of the hyper, like we need to defeat religion, right? So it became this materialist, hyper atheistic science, dogmatic, a lot of people call it. And with that, it's like, if there's more people like that, it's like, then all of this makes sense. Not just that, but like if you look at something like the vaccine, it makes sense. Even the expanded, the little extra version of the vaccine, which would be the mRNA, right? Now it's like we can use this technology, biological technology, to cure all these other diseases because you are a robot and we have we have the oil to fix it. We have your new motherboard ready to go. So if you're a materialist, this should all make sense to you. Actually, you would probably have to be like, of course it's going to work, but I don't want it. Where you're kind of in like a contradicting type of thing. But here we go.
Project, which allowed us to map the genes of the body. And President Barack Obama initiated the Connectome Project, a project to map the entire human brain. It is possible to connect the brain directly to a computer now. Stephen Hawking, the late physicist, my colleague, if you watch videotapes of him and look at his right frame, you'll realize that there was a chip in his right glass that communicated right by radio with his brain. The chip in turn communicated to a laptop, and it allowed him to type mentally. So we can now have telepathy. We can now combine minds with the internet, send memories, send emotions on the internet. And who's paying for it? The United States Pentagon. The United States Pentagon has already donated over $150 million for GIs from Iraq and Afghanistan who have spinal cord injuries. We can now bypass the spinal cord and connect the brain directly to the muscles of our body. And in fact, Iron Man, it's possible to create an Iron Man exoskeleton. At the World Cup Games.
Whoa. Not only would he get bent over, he's gung-ho for it. Now our soldiers are safe because they have Iron Man suits to protect them. Hey, what happens when that technology trickles down and now no one can be killed? What do they do? Do they play cards? The winner of a war or something? What the freak? I'm curious about the Stephen Hawking thing. Like, what is it? He's thinking of words and it's playing out on a computer screen? That's very hard for me to believe. Very, very, very hard for me to believe. That means you understand, like, yeah, we figured out consciousness. That's the only way to fucking do that. To have the thought of, like, Apple in your mind, and then it types Apple. Are you sure he isn't, like, there are, like, tracing, they called pupils or whatever, where you're just looking in a direction and words out. Or you can type letters by just looking here, looking there, looking there, looking. Like it's a keyboard in front of you. But I'm gonna look into that after this. All right, here we go.
In Sao Paulo, Brazil. There was a man who kicked the football and
I gotta rewind because thank you
so
to
we
the
can now
Pentagon.
have telepathy. We can now combine minds with the internet, send memories, send emotions on the internet. And who's paying for it? The United States Pentagon.
Wow. This might be a fantasy. I'm gonna have to look into this because first of all, the announcement that Stephen Hawking that is telepathy. To where he's typing words into a machine that puts words out. That's the machine reading your mind. You tell me how magical that sounds. And then the add on top of that, he's like, yeah, this will be fun. Not considering it, like, there's the Pentagon, and yeah, thankfully the Pentagon's on this one. Like, like all these things. It's like there's things in the world like you have to know about. There's no way you didn't know the Iraq War, Afghanistan, Syria, all these fucking things. Everything happening in the world right now, militarily. There's no way he's absolutely unaware of all of that. There's no fucking way. Very spooky. Here we go.
The United States Pentagon has already donated over $150 million for GIs from Iraq and Afghanistan who have spinal cord injuries. We can now bypass the spinal cord and connect the brain directly to the muscles of our body. And in fact, Iron Man, it's possible to create an Iron Man exoskeleton. At the World Cup games in Sao Paulo, Brazil,
Tells me.
there was a man who kicked the football and started the soccer games. Now, what's so important about that? That man was paralyzed. He couldn't move. At Duke University, they suited him up with an exoskeleton connected to his brain, and he was mentally able to walk and then kick the football, initiating the World Cup games. Now,
that is quite different. That is quite different. Because that is, see signals from the brain that are like telling me to do this, whatever, with my fucking hands and whatnot. All that shit. Maybe it's like a electric shock here, makes me wiggle my toes or move my hands or something like that. That's different than the I want to walk now thought. I'm going to walk now thought. And then the actual electric signal or whatever the fuck to say, okay, now this body part moves. Those are two different things. He's basically claiming they understand exactly what consciousness is, which is absolute. Like, this video should have like 7 billion views. Like, everyone should watch this. Fuck, someone figured it out. Now there's no, like, once you have that, there's no more mystery left about behavior, about the world, about there's no mystery about behavior, thinking, any of that. There's no need for psychology anymore. Now it's a hard science. It's figured out, right? It's not theoretical anymore. It is. This is what a human is, as far as the essence of like someone who, like, a thinker or anything like that. Existentialism, all solved. So, like, this should have 7 billion views or wherever, how many people are in the world, whatever. Interesting. That's a super duper claim. Super duper claim.
Now that's today. You can imagine what it's going to be like in the future now when we have direct brain-computer interface. Eventually, computer chips will cost a penny, which is the cost of scrap paper. They'll be everywhere and nowhere, including your eyeball in your contact lens.
He sounds like a crazy person, bro. But it's accepted, right? But that sounds like magic to me, like magical thinking, straight up. But here we go.
You'll blink and you'll be online. And who were the first people to buy internet contact lenses? College students taking final examinations. They will blink and see all the answers to my exam right there in their contact lens. And this could be very useful if you're at a cocktail party and there's some very important people there that can influence your future, but you don't know who they are. In the future, you'll know exactly who to suck up to at any cocktail party. On a blind date, they could be great because, of course,
Yeah, he's kind of selling the logic of it too. I thought he was. I'm still in the category that he's just like a normie celebrity scientist guy who, and I think a lot of this person wants all this stuff to be the case because he's thinking of the bright side of things. And daddy government loves me, and right, he's like a child almost. I don't think I don't even see him thinking about even like, hey man, wouldn't there be a lot of consequences for this? Oh yeah, sure, but that won't happen. That would never happen, you know. He sounds like Rogan talking about like the New York Times or something. They lied? They can't lie. If you lied, people will stop reading you. You'll get fired. So that they don't lie. Like childish naivete. Here we go. This is brilliant. Thank you, ICU. Fucking dork. You're probably a
blind
Trekkie.
date could say that he's single,
Come to the dark
he's
side.
rich,
Style.
and he's successful. But your contact lens says that he pays child support, that he's 3 times divorced, and the guy is a total loser. So yes, we're going to have almost infinite that he's rich and he's successful. But your contact lens says that he pays child support, that he's 3 times divorced, and the guy is a total loser.
But why? Wait, why would he need? Why would he need to pay child support or any of that stuff? Why would he behave socially poorly? That doesn't make sense, Michio Kaku. You already understood consciousness, so that means you could just change them to whatever the fuck you want to change them to. We as a group, as a society, can say this guy sucks. Let's make him not suck. So let's just jitter around in the fucking brain, and then boom, he's a better person. According to what you've just said already. Come on, guys. I mean, come on. Like, really look at the core of his argument, and that is what is being said. Let's continue. Once again, I think it's just a science geek fanboy thing, but you could see how dangerous that could be. Right? Anyone? All right.
So yes, we're going to have almost infinite knowledge, and then beyond that,
infinite knowledge
mentally. That is, we'll be able to think about emails, think about images, memories, and send them on the internet. Already, we can record memories. We've been able to record short memories in mice. Now it's being done on monkeys. Next, Alzheimer's patients.
I would love to see how that's done. I have questions. Like, did you like have a camera recording from the lab mouse's fucking like perspective, and then read brain signals, and then just like you see an actual image? That is next level unreal. Please, someone, please. We saw images. We saw literal images by looking at your brain. Like, huh? Hey, there's the tail. Okay, there's the food. There's the water dish. And tell me that doesn't sound made up, magical shit. Let's continue.
They'll push a button and memories will come flooding into their hippocampus. And maybe one day you'll push a button and have that vacation that you've never had. So we're entering a new era where the internet itself could become BrainNet. BrainNet could replace digital internet. Instead of zeros and ones, you'll send emotions, feelings, memories on the internet. And of course, teenagers will love it.
Yeah, but you won't. There's no you. There's no you in that in any of this, right? There's no you there to be feeling something or whatever the fuck. It's all illusionary. Like philosophy will have a field day with this shit, or someone who has at least critical thinking skills. Here we go.
Instead of putting a happy face at the end of every sentence, they'll put the entire emotion, their first dance, their first date, their first kiss, right there on the internet. And that's going to revolutionize entertainment. Because remember the talkies? When the talkies came, the silent movies went out of business. No one wanted to see Charlie Chaplin when you could hear actors talk. So movies are nothing but sound and a screen. Think of what'll happen when you could feel emotions, sensations, feel what the actor is feeling. Then the movies will seem so barbaric. They'll seem such like a dinosaur technology once we have BrainNet capable of sending emotions, feelings on the internet.
Why would you do any of those? There'd be no reason to do any. Okay. There is no you experiencing any of this stuff. Why do I need a movie? No, you want to feel the emotion. So the whatever, the movie screen will shoot out emotion signals which will cause an emotion. You'll feel what the actor feels. And it's like, or what the character's supposed to feel. It's like, wait, but I go to movies for an emotional reaction anyways. So why not just skip the movie and just have an emotional reaction? Since it can just be shot at me from a fucking laser beam or something, or I can Google, let me feel fear. Just type it in, now you feel fear. Or I feel happy, or I feel whatever the fuck. Bro, I feel super. Wow. He sounds magical. It sounds magical dream scenario as opposed to what's actually happening. Like, it sounds like he wants it to be the case, but here we go.
I think we're entering the fourth wave of scientific innovation. The first era was,
By the way, the trusted science people are like, yes, I like this, because they're the guys. No offense. It seems like they would be the types that, I don't know, fucking, they feel this notion of depression or anything like that. They're ready to take some sort of pill to fix the depression, as opposed to investigating it, doing existential work. Instead, science had this figured out decades ago. So come here, follow me. I'm Dr. Thompson. Or whatever. Here's your, what's it called? I don't even know the names. I think it's like Xanax or something. Whatever. Here we go.
Steam power. When we physicists worked out the laws of thermodynamics, we could calculate how much energy you get from a lump of coal to energize a locomotive or a steam engine or a factory. That was the first big breakthrough. The second wave of innovation in wealth generation was electricity and magnetism. When we physicists worked out the laws of electromagnetism, they gave us the light bulb, they gave us television, radio, gave us the electric age. The third revolution took place when we physicists worked out the transistor and the laser, opening up the world of high technology. The fourth wave is at the molecular level, and that is artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and biotechnology. In fact, I think the synergy between biotechnology and artificial intelligence is going to revolutionize everything around us.
Now, what's interesting is, like, I just did a video about this notion of survival playing such a heavy psychological role on people. This might play an even bigger psychological role, because it's not just the body, right? I want my body to survive so that I can express myself, right? I want the physicality to survive so I can existentially express myself, like the ghost in the machine expressing itself, because they're kind of talking about it that way. Uh, it's not exactly uh, body to body as far as the way it sounds. It sounds like an essence of self, some sort of essence of who they are as a person. That's the thing that they want to express, which is why I would want the body to survive. Something like this would be threatening to the actual existence of an essence of a self, or an existence of a self. Thus, that gets rid of the essence of it. Thus, that could be extra super duper threatening, where you see some very wild behavior, especially if people haven't figured that out yet. Like, who am I? But they're already coming through the back door to take that away, right? If I'm in mystery, if I don't know if I have a self or not, I don't know if I'm just brain matter or if I'm an actual, like, I'm a being. I don't know the answer to that. Oh boy, is that fucking spooky. Let's continue though. This is amazing. This is an amazing video. Freak you though, dork.
First of
Nerds
all, the job
win.
market is going to explode in that area because baby
Dork.
boomers are aging.
Nerd.
And baby boomers have
Nerds
disposable
win.
income. They want answers now to their problems, not next year. And so there's going to be plenty of money involved with people who want to find cures for horrible diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. At the present time, we have no cure for these, but tremendous amount of effort is now being redirected toward illnesses of old age. Also, take a look at cancer research. We're going to have a magic bullet against cancer using nanomedicine. That is individual molecules in cells that can target individual cancer cells using nanotechnology. And the next big thing is what.
Now that's one of those things where I'm like, hey, if we had a healthy like a healthy world with healthy physicians, healthy administrators, healthy government, healthy all of it, that sounds fucking brilliant. As far as how I understand cancer working, right? Where even if it did, like some sort of growth happens, right, in a portion of the body, like, hey, maybe nanobots can go in there and get it all up without it, like, you having to absolutely sever the lungs in half or whatever the fuck, right? Or radiation or all this stuff. Just throwing it out there. But obviously, I get why people would be worried, especially when you heard all the shit this guy said already. Imagine if he's at the head of that. Either he's nefarious, which I don't know, or he's a pushover. Seems more likely to me. Where it's like, okay, thank you, Michio Kaku. Now the Pentagon would like to take over operations from now on.
When your toilet becomes intelligent. In the future, your toilet will be your first line of defense against cancer because your bodily fluids, blood and your bodily fluids, contain signatures of cancer colonies of maybe a few hundred cancer cells in your body, maybe years before a tumor forms. Think about it for a moment. There are people watching this program right now, who have cancer growing in their body, maybe a few hundred cancer cells in a colony, but they won't know it for perhaps 10 years when you have 10 billion cancer cells growing in your body forming a tumor. We will have what is called liquid biopsies, DNA chips, that allow us to search for the signatures of cancer colonies of 100 cells, cancer genes, cancer enzymes, cancer proteins circulating in our blood and bodily fluids.
And you wouldn't guess about that, right, Michio Kaku? For like, just because you want that to happen so badly, you wouldn't just say, no, let me just skip a couple steps here and just make sure this thing happens. We need it. There's no way he would do that, right? He wouldn't do that. He worked on himself to have some sort of integrity, some sort of principles that he's like, I will never cross this fucking line. He did that work, right? I'm sure he did. What am I talking about? So stupid sometimes, Jordan. Let's continue.
So in other words, one day your toilet will tell you that you have cancer. Do something. You have 10 years to do it. So in other words, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to tell you is, in the future, the word tumor will disappear from the English language.
Except for the great-great-great-grandson of Amari Toomer, wide receiver for the New York Giants. His great grandson will be a Hall of Famer. I'm sure of it. He's actually a really good receiver. All right, here we go.
We will have years of warning that there's a colony of cancer cells growing in our body. And our descendants will wonder, how come we feared cancer so much? Cancer is going to become like the common cold. That is, we live with the common cold. It doesn't really kill anybody, except maybe if you have pneumonia. But for the most part, we tolerate the common cold because it's too difficult to cure 300 different varieties of rhinoviruses. In the future, we may see cancer the same way. There are probably thousands of different varieties of cancer. We can't cure every single one, but we'll live with it. We'll tolerate it, and we'll eradicate it in the same way that we live with the common cold.
Get smarter faster with new
Get smarter, faster. Violent speed, momentum. I am doctor. This. Respect. Right, I'm a fan. Admit it. All right, so, man, apparently this guy fucking figured out consciousness. And machines can read your mind and see your, not just read it, but actually showcase it on a TV screen. And this dude totally would not skip steps in order to make that like the actual thing that happened. Granted, it's like, hey man, you and whatever other scientists or whatever the fuck should be absolutely worshipped right now. If they figured out consciousness, that ends the game then. That would end a shit ton of things. Shit ton of bullshit in the world. Wars, hunger, all those things would be solved. If we're just ghosting the machine and we're real spiritual beings and shit like that, it's like, oh, maybe death takes on a different tone. Or if we are just machines ourselves, we can just weed out the bad ones by just killing them. Just get rid of them. Their DNA is fucked up or something. Or we could do like Michio Kaku said, if we're not into like just mass killing like that, we could do something to where we go into their brain chemistry and change it around, and then they'll be better. They'll be like one of us. Of course, it turns into a philosophical argument when you have to ask, like, okay, who's going to be the arbiter of what the right person is? Like, what is the correct version of being human? You'd kind of have to, right, argue that. Nah, fuck that. Let's look for all the world leaders, average them out, and just say, this is what man should be. It's an average of all the world leaders put together. And the Pentagon. Them too. So if you're rich, successful, and a head of state, that's right. We're taking your personality, we're finding the average, and that is the threshold of perfect man. We'll try to get everyone to live up to those standards. All right, that's it for me. Please subscribe if you like, comment, agree, disagree, tell me what you think in the comment section. Do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery, helping victims of Africom, to Cohen Daly, the Australian boy. Also, please help out some other content creators. Stevie, a.k.a. Redneconomics, Sleepy J, get him a coffee, and Ali Alexandra. All links in the description box. And with all that said, in like 40-something minutes. Whatever. With all that said, give this video. You can never, ever
Say you wanna get in.